That's Delightful,
a member of the Pod Bros Network.
Welcome to That's Delightful. Online at facebook.com/That's Delightful. Now time for That's Delightful.
I made an executive decision that I'm going to pass along to you folks here, and that is we've been calling every week episode 1, episode 2, blah, 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 blah. I think we should start calling them show or week 1 or week 2. So like right now we'd be on week 61.
Yeah.
And we could say week 61, America held hostage.
No, week 61, the week from fucking hell.
The week from hell. Okay.
Right
Rush
now.
Limbaugh, when Clinton was in office, Rush Limbaugh would say, day 457, America held hostage. Because he hated the Clintons.
Like Rush Limbaugh.
I'm going to say that I don't want to be anything like Rush Limbaugh just on principle.
I want to take what he started and make it an us thing, not a him thing. I want to take it from him, is what I want to do.
So like the fake news.
Jon Stewart does it too. Yeah.
Does he?
Yeah, he called it, he would name different...
I don't know.
Election 2008, shit extravaganza, explosion.
Can I tell you who's going to see Jon Stewart on
wanna
Sunday,
talk about
the
it.
3rd, my birthday?
I hate you guys.
Clusterfest. Treat yourself 2017.
2018. That's
right.
the year we're in.
Sorry, I was watching Treat Yourself 2017 today. Donna was getting married.
Hey,
Treat Yourself 2011.
Did I tell you?
It's the greatest
that
day ever.
You should watch a show called Parks and Recreation.
Oh, it's so
Nobody
great.
has ever told me about it.
Oh my God.
So I
I'm
started
bitter.
making her watch that, and she goes, wow, I wish somebody would have told me about this. I'm like, girl, the whole time this was on, I'd be like, hey, watch this with me.
You should have seen the look on his face because I was like, hey, why didn't you tell me about this show sooner? And he's like, are you kidding?
If she would just watch all the shows that you and I watch, then she'd be
Yeah.
in on the jokes.
It's true.
Then I
Yeah,
could
no,
tag
I'm
her and
not
stuff when we
that
talked about it with other
interested.
podcasts.
Yeah.
So I wanted to bring this up because the universe does not want us to have a podcast tonight. At the time of this recording, it's like 8:15. We got over here. We were set up. We were ready to go at 6:30.
Yeah.
It's after 8 o'clock right now. And you're going to hear kids in the background all night tonight. Usually I try and edit that out. I'm done.
No.
We can't do that tonight.
They're part of our experience tonight.
We've been parenting.
Non-stop.
And it's, it's really inconvenient. And don't think that I didn't notice your dig.
What dig?
So,
Oh no, we're doing this.
Did you not catch the dig?
Oh, I caught it.
Okay. You want to bring it there. So,
All right.
anyway.
so
wow. We're going to gloss over.
We're going to, sorry. So That's Delightful with Dr. Kelly Abbott, Ian Riley. So today we're going to talk about
I
Trump.
hope somebody punches you in the fucking testicles. Like right now.
No, it's been a rough night tonight with the kids. It's been a rough night with the parenting.
Right.
It's been a rough night just getting everything kind of started. We've stopped and started, what, like 3 times?
Yes. I married a misogynist. Lucky me.
Hey guys, I believe that children are our future.
I do too. Whitney Houston used to be my idol until she started doing all the crack. Crack's what?
It was all the crack.
It was
There was
all
no
the crack.
left for anybody else. But
No. She said,
Bobby B had some too.
She said, show me the receipts.
Crack's whack. I'm addicted to love. It's like, oh, no. Mm-mm.
Oh, my God. I just want to take a bath like Whitney Houston tonight. I am over today.
Stop. What is
What?
wrong with you?
What?
You're something.
Ian has entered the darkest timeline.
Right. It's like
Going for
he's.
full podcast.
Like he
villain.
was like totally fine, and then last week happened, and now he's like embracing this total dick side of him that is always lurked beneath the surface, but I thought had been like mostly tamed.
No, mostly what this is I feel embarrassed because I feel like people have the wrong impression of me. And so rather than try and right the ship, I'm just kind of leaning into it. This is very much, I'm going to take my ball and go home, or we're going to play my way or no way at all.
Right, but that
I'm
doesn't-
getting over it though. So like you can either give it the attention that I want it to have so I continue doing it, or you can be the adult and ignore it until I get bored with it and then move on.
Okay, did you just try to tell me how to parent you? Because you're
much.
a 40-year-old man,
39, but yeah.
and I don't accept responsibility for other people's choices. I
I'm
will
not
tell
asking you to accept responsibility for my choices.
That's exactly what you're doing.
I'm saying you can give me the attention that I so desperately crave when I act like this, or you can ignore the behaviors and it will eventually go away because I'll get bored.
So your reaction is directly the result of my behavior.
Aren't all of our actions when we're having a dyad?
Are you doing the definition of is?
I'm just saying.
Whoa, we're getting super meta tonight. Lines of reality are blurred.
So
man.
I do apologize that you feel embarrassed. It's a horrible feeling to have. It's also I mean, you got to accept responsibility.
Thank you for acknowledging
here.
my feelings.
Wow. Okay. You're welcome.
Ian, is there anything you would like to say to Michelle?
Thank you for acknowledging my feelings.
I literally married a fucking 12-year-old.
Come on, you're a little turned on right now.
Not at all.
Yeah, for the record, we do not have one of those relationships where we have like the call me daddy, because that's weird. It's gross.
No,
to
my
me.
dad
Oh,
had.
not for that reason. You guys fighting, though, it does something for you because you do it all the damn time.
No, we don't. That's the weird thing. It's like we have
I
like
bring
one
this out of you.
blowout a year. No, it's like a bigger thing. Like we have this
We have one or two blowouts a
presentation.
year.
Yeah, and I think we had ours a couple days ago.
Yeah, we had our
Oh,
blowout
in the
like 48
aftermath.
hours ago.
Yeah.
Unrelated to anything going on with this podcast. or
Yeah,
anything
no,
that we're
no.
talking about.
It's
But it was a rock'em sock'em.
It was
red versus blue.
a buildup of parenting tensions,
Yeah.
and that exploded, and then
Otherwise,
we're
the
cool
fights
now.
and squabbles that you see here, what it really does for me is it gives me like an extra 25, 30 minutes in the bedroom with the TV by myself where no one's bothering me and I can watch Parks and Rec in my alone time.
That's not true.
I know it's not. I want you in bed with me cuddling, but you won't do that. Remember the
He
remember
does.
the deal
He
we
makes
had?
me. He forces me to hug him. He's like, hug me, hug me, hug me, hug me. It's like, oh my God, let
Be
me.
held right now.
He does. It's his. He needs. So Ian's reassurance needs to come in physical form. He needs to know I'm not mad.
It's good to know that.
I'm sorry that I still, after all these years, enjoy affection
You
from my
do.
wife.
You do.
I have to rig the pillows up to hold me, so
Do you want?
fuck you guys.
Do you want Ian to hug you?
I have 3 pillows with varying degrees of memory
Do you
to
want
their foam. And
Ian to
they-
hug you?
No,
I could buy you an AI girlfriend.
What's wrong with me?
you're not. You're not my person. You're a person of mine.
Do you have a person?
My
No, I
self-esteem
will
is
get
low
there.
enough. My
I might
self-esteem
get
is
there
low
first.
enough right now where I'm okay being the jumping pad
Why
between
is your self-esteem low?
person A and person C. I'll be person B in the middle. I'm the bus stop.
Why is your self-esteem low?
I was making a joke. It's really not. I have very high self-esteem.
Promise?
Yeah. Why?
Okay. I don't know, because I don't want you to have low self-esteem.
If I was genuinely having low self-esteem issues, the one thing I would not do is say it on the podcast.
Well, I don't know. Maybe you're that. I don't know. Whatever. Why are we talking about this? Is this one of those weird episodes where it's weird and then it's going to be
We
good
got weird energy.
because it's weird?
We've had a couple episodes where we kind of like take the gloves off a little bit, and then people are like uncomfortable, and then we come back and we're like, do we reassure people? Do we lean into it? Do we ignore it? What do we do?
We say that coming up on the show, the NFL has addressed the national anthem, take a knee, don't take a knee. Is there going to be any penalties? And there are, in fact, penalties. We also delve deep into the deep state, if there actually is a deep state. Plus,
isn't.
Donald Trump and Twitter, what a federal court has ruled on him blocking other people. And as always, online, facebook.com/that's delightful.
So we're ignoring it then.
Or patreon.com/that's delightful.
Yeah.
But no, I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't know if that I was taking a cue to like move on, or
I don't know.
or what we're no. Let's go down this road.
I felt like we had a good conversation last week.
I thought we had a great show. So this is part of the podcast. Is you guys are going to talk about our last show.
Hold on.
Our kids coming in to get something to drink.
Yeah.
Ask Will.
Will you get something for Jack to drink, please? Thank you, my son.
And that's how we do it.
That's how we do it. Just leave all that in the podcast.
Oh, parenting is fun.
Honestly, when we got done with that last episode, I didn't realize that we were going to strike a strong enough chord with people like we did as far as the topic that we discussed. But when we got done, you left, I looked at Michelle and I said, that was a really good fucking show. That was a good show. And Michelle told me yesterday that on the way home, you told her, I thought that was a really good show. I thought we nailed it last week. Not to pat ourselves on the back, but pat. I thought we had a good show. Yeah.
I just, like I said, I think it's uncomfortable for anybody. Number one, we have just a thing. So when it gets serious, I think it's uncomfortable for everyone. I mean, when you and I start bickering, like for reals, you can see Kelly kind of shrink into himself
Sure.
without the podcast. So
Yeah, and I like leaning into stuff. I mean, I think at the heart of all of it was this idea of implicit bias, and we were trying to like get at that, but it's uncomfortable anytime someone tells someone they've got a blind spot, and I feel like all of us got blind spots called on us. Your blind spot is counting crows, Michelle.
yes, that's what my blind. You're right, Kelly.
Thank you very much.
That's,
But Ian was being told that he was being sexist, and Ian, I mean, that's inherent in the idea of implicit bias. Is it's something that you don't realize is there, that you don't see as part of yourself, and when you get called on it, the instinct is to say, no, that's not what it is. And in the comments, people were kind of still saying that to you. And then they called me out for not calling you out. And I was like, yes, I did call him out. It was very hard for me to say what I said. And then I listened back and I was like, no, I totally pulled my punch. I was kind of just like, now, Ian, it's okay. Everything's fine. I would totally do it too. So we both kind of got called out for like going a little easy on ourselves. And you, I think, took the brunt of it. You're giving me this weird eyes right
You also
now.
over-defended it. But so what I want to say, though, on this topic is it's normal. I mean, it's not, I don't know how to put it. It's not atypical for people to have these biases. Actually, it's pretty inherent in humanity. We all have stereotypes or biases, and then they're conditioned and reinforced through culture. So are you crying?
No, I'm sniffling.
Okay.
You should have said yes.
So it's like, what is happening right now? So there are times where I see something, you've said it, you've called me out on it, where I've said something and you're like, hey, racist. And it's like, oh, yeah, that is. I didn't realize it, And it's just, it's not that it's okay, but it's typical. It's what happens.
Yeah.
You learn from it and you move on. I don't stay in guilt in general just because it's not healthy, and I don't choose that. But you acknowledging and moving on is healthy.
Indeed. So
And that's where we're going to leave it.
sure is. So again, facebook.com/that's delightful. If you'd like to become a donor or patron to the show, patreon.com/that's delightful. We've had a couple of button requests, and we're going to get those out shortly. I don't know if I'm going to do them in color or just plain black and white, but we've had some button requests, and we need to make good on that. So where do we start? Do we start with Trump and Twitter?
Trump's on Twitter?
He tweets things sometimes.
He tweets things, and sometimes there's people that can't read what Trump tweets because if they criticize him, he'll block them. And a federal court has ruled that Trump cannot block people on Twitter.
Shockingly enough, the whole point of the first. So when people
I might get on Twitter.
when people are like free speech, free speech, free speech, that is free speech. It's the ability of the people to criticize their government. So once you become government, you don't get to block people.
She wrote in federal court, because no government official is above the law, and because all government officials are presumed to follow the law, once the judiciary has said what the law is, we must assume that the president and Scavino will remedy the blocking we have held to be unconstitutional. So he cannot block people on Twitter. I know there's some celebs out there.
Cyberbullying begin.
Who's John Legend's wife?
Chrissy Teigen.
I think she was blocked famously by Trump.
Yeah. I think the whole Trump family, it's funny because a lot of people like have a game going, like seeing if you can get a full house, or what is it, the 5 of a kind?
Blocked by all of the Trumps, or what?
Blocked by every Trump. So it was like a game for a while for some people. And it's, his family is probably still able to block, but he cannot.
Well, now, from what Twitter, though, is what I'm wondering, because there's the @RealDonaldJ.Trump, and then there's the @POTUS.
Both. You're a public figure.
He's the president.
This is true. You are the president. You are a government official, no matter what Twitter you have.
Yep.
And Jared Kushner got his security clearance tonight, so he can't block now, right? He's
Nope.
in the club.
He's in the club. He's in the club. Doesn't his daughter hold a cabinet position, or is she just
I don't
an
think she has
advisor
a
to the
cabinet.
president?
She's just an
Special
advisor.
advisor.
Special advisor? Okay.
And she's a total 10, according to
Her dad.
Donald J. Trump. Yeah.
Okay, I can't argue with them because she is pretty hot.
Donald J. Trump can't block people anymore. I wonder if people would take advantage of that.
Oh, I think
I
that
hope so.
you have to.
I have very strong feelings about cyberbullying. I feel like cyberbullying of any kind is inappropriate.
Well, if you've read the Melania Trump book, Be Best.
Actually, Donald Trump on Twitter made it clear that her name is actually spelled Melanie.
Melanie right.
Trump.
Okay, I think
When she's in the hospital.
I'm not going to defend Donald Trump in general, but we have all autocorrected something. So,
If his phone hasn't learned Melania at this point, he doesn't type his wife's name enough.
well, he also, we found out, is using an unencrypted phone that he wanted to jail Hillary Clinton for.
He is such a nightmare person, you guys.
But no, the people that voted for him are nightmare people, because how do you live with the hypocrisy that you face every day?
That's the fake news.
So I was listening to a guy on Sirius XM the other day who said, if you voted for Donald Trump, you are racist. And I thought, that's pretty harsh.
It is.
And the way he explained it was Donald Trump's base, Donald Trump's campaign, everything that Donald Trump stands for benefits the white race. And
Exclusively.
and he said, I can't absolve you for voting for Trump because you had a couple other squabbles because you think that's more important than equality and racism.
What my counter to that, because we tend to be reductive with it, and you say, well, it's racism, pure and simple. But what about the 26% of the Latino community that voted for Trump? Or I know black men who voted for Trump.
Fake
Are
news.
they? We can say that I'm willing to say that they bought into institutional racism or were willing to overlook it, but I'm not going to call a black man racist and act like I have any authority over that.
Okay.
So I think, like I said, it's reductive, and it's kind of like the swan song of the Democratic Party right now.
Yeah, I mean, they've rolled out their strategy that they're going to use for the fall election, and it's pretty much they're super corrupt, so vote for us.
Who are also super corrupt.
Also corrupt, yeah.
Do we run for office?
No.
Could we run for office with this podcast? Some of the pictures I've taken on flip phones, etc. Would we ever get elected?
Yeah.
I would not.
I don't think so.
Yes, we would.
I don't know.
You might.
We are super likable.
You might. I think out of all of us, you probably have
You
the
really do.
squeaky
You were an
clean.
Eagle
You
Scout.
guys, no, I've masturbated way too much in my life.
But you're not
Don't like
blind.
People don't like a masturbator. I learned that in church.
God just punishes you. You're fine. So,
Oh man.
Oh, good talk.
but the Eagle Scout thing and the whiteness, but also speaking Spanish, you're like the Joe Kennedy.
I
Of
am.
this-
I'm like Joe damn Kennedy.
You are. You've
I
got
should just
that
go take my seat in
wholesome,
Congress,
wholesome boyish appeal.
kick Ted Cruz in the balls, and take
All
his
the
chair
all the elderly people would vote for you because you've got that.
with my dad bod and the streaks of red in my beard.
And why do you guys have red beards?
It's the Irish in us.
The Irish. Hey, I know you mailed it in with the Mormon religion and said I'm leaving this now. When are you going to come over to Judaism?
When you stop having weird holidays that I don't get to be part of.
Because you could be a part of. We had a woman there that.
Did you say weird holidays?
You got all the
Like,
weird holidays.
unlike the
Every
Christianity.
time I want to hang out with you, you got some weird Jewish holiday.
Like Christmas.
I was going to say Jew holiday, but it feels wrong to say
we
Jew
say
holiday.
Jews.
I feel like using Jew, the word Jew is
in the way that you were going to say it was
Yeah,
probably a little
Jew
weird.
holiday.
Yeah.
I know.
The reason I ask is
Kind of like
because
when Kelly told your
That's like
son.
saying the
or-
Democrat Party
the congregation I go to is mostly old people, and I feel like we could rule that roost.
We could run the table.
I think we could run the table. I think we could genuinely run the table there. So, and the holidays aren't that. It's the food that's the worst. The holidays are not weird.
Yeah, what is it with
Oh my God! I got
So
chased
Jewish
by
people
an
have
older
shitty
Jewish
food.
woman with a persimmon one time, and I was like, I'm never, ever having this conversation
We
again.
were having, was that the Interfaith Thanksgiving?
Yes, and it was awesome. I mean, the whole festivity was like all the festivities were awesome, and I was trying to, I don't know, pretend like I abide by female stereotypes.
There was a
and
Catholic pastor, an Episcopalian pastor, and imam.
So I was in the kitchen trying to help out with everything, and forgot her name. This lady came up and she was like, I have these persimmons and I want you to try a persimmon. And I'm like, I don't like persimmons. And she's like, no, but you haven't had these persimmons. I was like, no, I don't like persimmons at all. And she was like, but you haven't had these. And I'm like, no, I don't like persimmons. I don't. Where did you have a persimmon? And I was like, my grandmother has a persimmon tree, but they're not these persimmons. Try this persimmon.
See, this is my implicit bias. I am having such implicit because you're saying it in a normal voice, and I'm hearing, "Try a persimmon."
No, that's what
You
happened.
need to have a persimmon. You haven't had these persimmons.
Eat the persimmon.
is
Eat
that-
the persimmon. And so I was like, fucking.
eat it.
Ian's laughing, and I'm like, give me the fucking persimmon.
I am dying.
But I have like stop, leave me alone with. I don't.
She
want
ate the
a
persimmon.
I had to
ate
eat.
it?
She ate the
Yes,
persimmon.
and I told her I still don't like persimmons. Like I don't.
It was awesome.
I don't like
It
persimmons.
tastes like your vape pen smells.
My vape pen smells amazing.
Like somebody ate a mango and farted it out.
We just had the holiday Shavuot, which is It's the commemorating and like the anniversary of receiving the Torah and receiving the Ten Commandments from Mount Sinai.
You guys know the day of that?
And I
don't.
It's the same.
Like Christmas.
It's like Christmas.
Today.
Right around here.
March 13th, Ten Commandments Day.
So what they do is you simulate waiting at the bottom of the mountain at a campfire for Moses to come down with the Ten Commandments.
Seriously?
So you
That's
stay
kinda
up.
cool.
You stay up all night. So you get to the synagogue right around 9:00, and then from 9 until about 2 in the morning. It's discussion. So basically, what the rabbi does is he has everybody that's confirmed to attend teach some sort of lesson, whether it be their favorite Torah story or just a story in general, something about the Ten Commandments, whatever, it doesn't matter. And then right around 2:00, you go out to a campfire and you basically sit around the campfire and have more discussions. But the whole feel is you're supposed to be a small camp amongst 2 million people waiting for Moses to come down with the Ten Commandments. And then right at sunrise at 5:00, and I thought we were done at 5 and went until 6. Right at sunrise at 5:00, they begin a Torah prayer service. And so you got to put on the prayer shawl, and it's all in Hebrew, so I mumble along as best as I can. And then right as the sun is rising, we go out to the parking lot, and we face the sun where it's rising, and we do our last prayer. And you look around like, all right, that's done. See you guys later. That's pretty much it.
Oh, man. Tell you what, when you guys start recreating the plagues of Egypt, I'll join in. Like when you get like buckets of locusts and
Passover.
frogs. Yeah. Like, do you actually like do the plagues?
No, Passover. Have you ever been to a traditional Passover Seder?
No. That I would.
You guys are having like a super Abrahamic fucking religious shit, and I don't want to care.
Okay, then give me 1 second here.
Way to dismiss an entire world religion that is historically disenfranchised and
I'm
persecuted.
dismissing 2.
Do you want to come?
Yes, I do.
You don't have to be Jewish.
I would love to do that.
You don't have to be Jewish to come to any of the events.
Cool.
I go.
The traditional Passover Seder is, if you do it right, you fast from sun up to sundown. You don't have to.
I grew up fasting. We fast once a month.
And then you start out with really shitty food, like bitter food that you would grow in the desert. And then you do these little dabs for the plagues on your plate with your grape juice or wine. It's a whole story.
Yeah.
That it's like a 4-hour process, 5-hour process. But the way they do it's pretty fun. A lot of singing, a lot of fun. Anyway,
I would like to have your rabbi back on because we had this. I need somebody to talk me down a little bit after what happened with with the embassy in Jerusalem.
Yeah.
Opening last week, it left an odd taste in my mouth that I sort of need to process.
a lot of Palestinians were killed in that, yeah?
A lot of Palestinians
33.
killed, and a lot of people in Jerusalem not seeming to care.
Well, there's a lot of. Yeah.
Do you want me to reach out?
There's a lot of history there, and I need.
I do.
Context.
I do too.
What I saw was a lot of rich people celebrating and playing music, while a lot of poor people were being shot in the street.
And you know what?
It's really hard to justify that to me.
If you pose the question exactly like that to him, he'll answer. Should I reach out? Do you want me to see if he'll come back on?
Yeah.
I would like that. Yeah.
I'd be delighted.
Because I found myself uncomfortable with how one-sided it felt.
But I also know that he's pretty gray area. Why are you rubbing my foot?
Because I love you. I'm showing my affection with physical touch.
Do you need me to reassure you?
Yes.
Okay. I love you too.
Thanks.
That was sort of romantic. Would you like me to reassure your physical touch with mine? That was awesome.
Can a
Robo-marriage.
person just get a fucking break? Just curious.
Yeah, I'll reach out to him and see if he wants to come back on. Because I know that he's very pro-Israel. And I'd be interested to get his take on it too.
Yeah, but he's pretty even keeled.
He is pretty even keeled. I
think
honestly, if I could predict what he's going to say, I think he would say something to the effect of the death is tragic. Death should not happen like that. However, and I'm just from the hip. That's
I
what I'm
think we're
thinking.
getting interrupted by another kid.
Emily, what's going on? Yes.
You can have whatever you want right now. Brace yourself.
Biting.
All right. Can somebody explain this deep state thing to me? Because this sounds really weird.
It's not a thing.
So there was this like conservative theory, and I want to say, I don't know for sure. I haven't really looked it up again, but was it Alex Jones or Bannon or somebody in that arena created this idea that Obama and a shadow government are secretly running the country. And it's fucking weird, and we don't really know. I mean, I'm sure the conservatives have justifications for it, or the really creepy conservatives. I don't want to paint all conservatives that way. But there's got to be some justification for it, some way that this makes sense to people. But I'm going to tell you right now that if Obama was secretly running the government, I would be a lot happier and would not be complaining nearly as much.
If Obama was secretly running the government, Hillary would be president right now.
She really would. Obama does not want Trump president. I'm just saying.
He's like, you know what let's do with our shadow government? Let's put Trump in office and have him dismantle all of my policies, replace all of my judges.
And then everybody will be mad.
I honestly, it's so infuriating because people are just like, yeah, shadow government. Yeah, deep state. And it's like, what are you talking about? He's running the table right now.
You know what would be awful, though, is if the president like reinforced such a belief or opinion.
Well, he's using it to try and undermine the Mueller investigation. He's like, well, did you see what they did? They put a spy who infiltrated my campaign.
I'm surprised he hasn't come out to say yet that it was the Illuminati and only Robert Langdon can get to the bottom of this.
See, Robert Langdon's TV ready. He could come on. He likes people who are charismatic, famous people.
There's this whole thing. So I just kind of Googled it right now. It's a website called Killing Deep State. And it's the fight to save Donald Trump's presidency. So Jerome Corsi reveals the secret plan to destroy President Trump. Secretly operating behind the curtain of national security in Washington, D.C. exists the real government of the United States, the deep state. So now the New York Times bestselling author of The Abomination pulls the veil of the deep state and the powerful agencies behind it, the FBI, CIA, DOJ, NSA, and the Federal Reserve. You guys are fucking weird.
So, do you think, what's this guy's name again?
Jerome Corsi?
Do you think at Thanksgiving dinners, everyone's like, look, before Jerome gets here, he's going to say some really crazy shit. Family is family, blood is blood. Just give him like 20 minutes and then stuff him some turkey in his mouth, and then we can talk about anything else. But he's going to need like 20 minutes to give us his rant.
No, hold on. It gets better.
Oh, boy.
So he also provides new evidence that Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton and their key lieutenants are orchestrating the deep state.
Key lieutenants, you say?
Doesn't it sound like a gang?
He must be referring to Rod Rosenstein. Oh, no, wait. Trump appointed him.
Who's the sergeant at arms? I'm just curious. What do their cuts look like? Is there a handshake?
There's
General,
definitely a handshake.
this deep state's in a state of disarray. I do not like it. Fix it, General.
What does the handshake look like?
Between the secret handshake for the deep state?
Yes.
I just imagine them rubbing the tips of their penises together.
Yeah, they make the penis.
Well, Hillary Clinton's there.
Right, I just imagine them. I'm kidding. That's a sexist thing to say. I don't mean that.
Good job. Good job.
Oh, man.
Anyway,
Moving on.
You took the wind out of my sails because
I didn't say anything.
I was going to have them all playing tummy sticks together, but then you brought up Hillary Clinton, and I can't do that now.
I'm sorry I brought up one of the people.
Wait, can women be lieutenants?
So, killing the deep state shows that the investigation led by Mueller, the former FBI director who served under Obama, is nothing more than a political witch hunt.
These are all his people. There's Trump's people. What's happening?
And Mueller is a Republican.
What the fuck? Rod Rosenstein's a Republican. All of them are Republicans. They're all Trump people.
So
I don't understand.
Russia was funneled. Here's some of the theories. So, answers revealed is the category that these fall under. Have you ever wondered why just 24 hours after her loss in the presidential election, Hillary was already touting the Russian collusion theme? She actually did it before, just so you know. She was talking about it before.
It was in the debates and everything. There was nothing.
There was a whole
about that.
point or part where I was like, don't bring that up, Hillary. It sounds weird.
Even MSNBC was calling her crazy for talking about it.
Yes.
But she wasn't wrong, and I don't even like Hillary.
I'm glad Jerome picked up on that after the election. Way to go, Jerome.
Did you ever notice how 24... Oh, my...
The FBI's Robert Mueller has turned a blind eye to the open and brazen efforts of the Bureau to first back the Clintons and now sabotage Trump.
How does Robert Mueller... Nobody knows what he's doing.
Russia was funneled U.S. military technology and 20% of all U.S. uranium production as part of the Russian reset. So, okay, they have talked about the uranium thing like ad nauseum. I don't like how many times.
Hot takes by Jerome.
What do all these things have to do with each other? What is he connecting dots?
It doesn't look like it. So,
when
well,
he's
it might
done
be in the book.
When he's done, it's going to look like a Sooner
I think it's in the book.
or a schooner.
So, popular Fox News host Glenn Beck, MSNBC's Pat Buchanan, and CNN Lou Dobbs.
MSNBC's Pat Buchanan?
And Lou Dobbs were all forced off their networks, ? Find out which powerful
my
figure in the
gosh.
deep state was behind this.
Glenn Beck
rabid
grew a
attack.
conscience.
He did. He actually wore a sweater and went on Samantha Bee.
Brother Beck.
So, Brother Beck?
He's a Mormon.
Figures.
He's also a former alternative radio DJ.
Is he?
Yeah.
So,
Play a lot of Silverchair back in the day.
Obama, oh no, this is better. So they're not racist, but Obama wants Black America against President Trump, and how Antifa activities became designated as domestic terrorist violence by U.S. Department of Homeland Security. Yet the mainstream media still champions their cause and hails them as heroes. What does Black America have to do with that? I'm
Can
just
you
curious.
say lamestream media, please? Get it right or don't say it
Yeah.
at all.
No, they said
Way to
mainstream.
legitimize the mainstream media.
So here's the
Jerome.
thing. Antifa, if you ever look, I know that they cover their faces, but you can see that the skin is mostly white, and it happens in typically more well-off white suburban
College
neighborhoods.
students, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and say that has nothing to do with Black America. Stop trying to tie the two together.
Does he bring in the crisis actors?
Hold on, we'll see.
Okay.
FBI counterintelligence agent Peter Strzok,
Wait, not to interrupt, real quick. What's Jerome what?
Corsi.
And Bill Whittle was our last fuck you, Bill Whittle?
Yeah. Fuck you, Jerome.
Fuck you, Jerome.
So, FBI counterintelligence agent Peter Strzok, who once led the Clinton email probe, changed the wording to James Comey's speech about Hillary's handling of classified information through her private email server from grossly negligent to extremely careless. Ooh,
What?
Total smoking gun. So it took so long for government officials to admit the Fusion GPS dossier was a fake, paid for by the surprising sources. Were the FBI and Obama behind it as well?
If a dossier doesn't come in a briefcase with a lock and a handcuff, I don't want to read it because it doesn't seem secret enough to me. I'm just going to put that out there. That's what I think of when I hear the word dossier.
Here are just some of the
Fuck you, Jerome.
incredible revelations Corsi makes in killing the deep state. Fucking terrifying. Which deep state typed this in an email sent from a government plant or phone when Trump's election victory became apparent? It is fucking terrifying. I said it too.
We're part of the deep state.
Are we? Do you get
Very ineffective
Can
deep
we-
state.
Oh.
They're like, hey, deep state meeting, guys. Let's change the words from grossly negligent to deeply irresponsible.
Leak it to That's Delightful so they can get a hold of that. And
Can we
run
make
with
a
it
badge?
ASAP. Sure, what badge?
the deep state? That's delightful.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. Does the deep state have a logo?
That's deep state lightful.
Deep state and delightful.
Honestly, though, like, what sort of deep state activity is that to change the
I
wording
don't-
slightly to something synonymous with grossly negligent?
But I mean, like, seriously, let's talk a second about the psychology tactics behind this. I mean, in general, it's like essentially you're creating a pattern that isn't really there. I mean, if you break that down, there's really no connection, and there are no real threads that create this idea of a deep state. You're literally just throwing out conspiracy theories.
It's like Drunk Uncle on Saturday Night Live. Just
I don't understand the
word
reference.
association. Just
Yes. It's essentially all.
Queen Antifa?
So the only thing missing is 9/11. And
Oh, yeah.
in support our troops. And
No,
that's really
way too effective for the deep state.
Before Obama orchestrated 9/11 and Hillary Clinton flew the plane into the World Trade Center right before she jumped out with her parachute.
well, that would be funny if it wasn't for the fact that Trump actually accused Clinton of being responsible for What is the fucking ISIS? I'm like, wait,
Yeah.
it was a god?
Barack Obama invented ISIS.
Yes. So
Created ISIS.
he said Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton created ISIS. And I mean, like, that wasn't in there. I've noticed maybe Jerome Corsi forgot that they created ISIS.
Fuck you, Jerome Corsi.
Here's the thing, though, is that all of these people know that there's no dots to be connected here. Sorry, I'm tapping the table. They just have learned that if they throw out a bunch of keywords and phrases, that people will froth at the mouth. I mean, there are liberal versions of this as well.
Yes.
So let's be fair. There's red meat that you can throw to either side, and they'll foam at the mouth about it.
Unless you're vegan.
But picking these apart logically is beside the point, because it's not as though they think they're actually making any points worth making. They're just distracting. They're just trying to activate their base.
At the end of the day, I mean, the guy needs to make a living, and if he can write well, then, you know.
We should try writing.
Yeah, if he wants to try and make a little story and get some money, and he probably is making some money off this.
My issue isn't Jerome Corsi. My issue is the fact that the president of the United States has been tweeting about the deep state and how they're after him. So he's reinforcing this very dark and paranoid ideology. And this is the first thing that pops up when you Google search the deep state.
Well, this is where the Jerome Corsis then get a little power in their writing, because Trump says something about it and people Google it because they don't really understand it. And then you get a guy like Jerome writing the shit that we just heard.
But how is this any different from when he was running for president and he was surely going to lose, and you could see that he thought he was going to lose, so he had already laid the tracks down to contest the results of the election. He was already blaming the millions of falsely registered voters. I mean, this is the same tactic. He's willing to burn down the republic to get himself out of a tight spot.
He is, but
I mean, none of this means anything. He's doing it to distract from stuff he doesn't want us looking at. And it's his only play, really, because how many people in his campaign and administration have been indicted at this point? He keeps calling it a witch hunt, but people have been indicted and confessed and pled guilty to working with the Russians.
If it was a witch hunt, there would be nothing there, because a witch
Right.
hunt is literally looking for something that does not exist. And it looks like a lot of this shit exists. Not the deep state, but his...
So already by definition, not a witch hunt. There are no witches, just criminals. And when that's not working, he's trying to say, well, it's a conspiracy against us. And
right.
I don't know why his cohorts keep pleading guilty.
I just want to reiterate the importance of voting right now, because I've got my own cynicism in the way, but it's not normal at all. It's normal for a president to play to their base. It's normal for a president to say stupid shit. It is not normal for a president to reinforce a very scary conspiracy theory. I mean, that's not okay.
I am voting for the candidate that makes the deep state shallow and transparent. I want a shallow and
I
transparent
just don't want to
deep
come
state.
out in the open. So if I'm part of the deep state, I want to stay hidden.
I just want to know, because Trump has managed to squirm out of every tight corner by using this very tactic. He uses scare tactics, he activates his base, and he ends up squirming out of it. He's not going to be able to evade the law forever. He's broken the law numerous times. It's going to catch up with him. When he finally has to either leave office or doesn't get reelected, what's going to happen to his base? What are they going to do? Will they just shrug and go back to whatever they were doing before, or will they actually? Is he going to try and get them to rise up and?
So Trump TV will happen.
Destroy some shit.
I honestly think that's all it was. I don't think this is very well planned out.
Sure,
but
yeah.
it's effective, but it's not very well planned out. And what's scary is, these were all the Tea Partiers. These were all the people that had already started with this weird fringe belief system. Now, I know Ian's dad was a member of the Tea Party initially, and then he was like, these fucking people are weird. They don't do anything. So he kind of abandoned that. But initially it was this idea of there's too much regulation in the government. We need to go back to, what we started with. Now it's almost a representation of this really radical idea that, it's going to be left without an outlet, and they're just going to find someone worse.
Yeah.
To promote. I just don't think it'll be somebody as famous, unless it's fucking Kanye, in which case they'll want to prove that they're not racist.
Kanye.
I will kill you with my
He's
fist.
got some good ideas. Why are you looking at me?
What about Jerome? Can we get Jerome to run?
I hate all of you people.
Hey, so the NFL has come down with a decision when it comes to kneeling during the national anthem. Colin Kaepernick famously did it a couple of seasons ago, then spent another season kneeling during the national anthem. He initially was sitting down during the national anthem, and a service member told him, hey, if you're going to do that, you should kneel. Sitting down is extremely disrespectful. Kneeling, we get. But sitting down, don't do that.
Yeah, there's a reason. I don't remember. Do you remember what the reason is behind the kneel? Because I've actually looked it up before.
But
it's like showing respect, but at the same time.
Showing
Right.
displeasure. So last year, players, like 5 or 6 players were kneeling during the national anthem. Trump went on his rant. And he's like, fire this son of a bitch. You're fired. After he did that, dozens of players were kneeling during the national anthem. The NFL commissioner, Roger Goodell, and the owners got together and came out to say, from now on, if you're on the field when the national anthem plays, you will stand for the national anthem. If you choose to protest the national anthem, you will do so from the locker room. You will not be kneeling on the field. If you do, there will be a fine to you personally as a player for kneeling during the national anthem. Thoughts?
Take the fine.
Take the fine. And I think that's probably what's going to end up happening. Because, I mean, at some point, it's not even necessarily about the original reason behind what Colin Kaepernick's purpose is. It's about you cannot tell us what to
Seriously,
believe.
every player in the NFL should be angry as hell that their freedom of speech is being limited. And we saw a lot of solidarity. People who didn't necessarily feel it was correct to take a knee, who were willing to do so to show solidarity with their team and to push back against people who are trying to limit their freedom.
There was people that would kneel, and then players that did not want to kneel would stand next to them.
Yeah, and put their hand on their shoulders. There are ways to express your...
In the NBA, I mean, I think they kind of pushed out, but they hold arms in solidarity, and that's how they do it. But, I mean, I honestly think that what'll end up happening is, I mean, if they're smart, they'll start taking a knee, because you're going to lose...
I think this is a huge swing and a miss. You got 31 white owners. You have a league that's 75% black. And you're telling them, hey, that whole kneeling for police brutality.
We let you have that for a year, but...
not anymore.
Not anymore, because...
Want to play in our league, boy, you're going to stand or you're going to stay in the locker room.
Here's the thing, though, Roger Goodell. What the fuck are the fans going to do? They're not going to stop. They're not going to stop watching the game.
They didn't last year. You saw the people on my Facebook going off. I would show you. The Garys and the Dustins would be like, that's it. I guess I'm not watching the NFL anymore. But every week I could count on seeing a post from both of them about what happened in the NFL that week. Nobody's going to stop watching the NFL because they were kneeling.
Right.
Like maybe a couple here and there, but certainly not a significant enough amount for them to be like, oh, I guess we better not do this anymore.
Have we not learned that the conservatives suck at boycotting? They really do. They're terrible at it.
Their best move is breaking their own televisions.
And burning their hats that they purchase.
We're going to go to Starbucks and we're going to tell every barista that our name is Trump. So when they yell out our coffee, they have to yell Trump.
Right. We're going to buy all the coffee.
Right. Starbucks is like, so you're still paying for coffee, right?
Cool. We'll call you Trump.
Do you want me to put Donald in front of that or Mr. President? How do you want me to label that?
That was...
I think this is a swing and a miss. I think it's a terrible move. Now, I want to ask you this, though, because there are lots of places that terminate people's employment because people have the freedom of speech, but that doesn't mean that it comes without consequences from employers. There is the racist lawyer who went on the rant. Remember
they tried to apologize.
The mariachi band played out in front of his apartment building.
They had like a taco truck that came. It was awesome.
His law firm cut him loose because he does not represent what that law firm represents.
Well, and I mean, the same thing happened in Berkeley when the, what was it, Unite the Right, basically the KKK rally that happened in Charlottesville. One of the guys came from Berkeley and he worked at a restaurant. And they fired him. So the NFL is not overstepping their bounds here. No, they're not. But the concerning part is that where you're getting into the line of I'm protesting the government. That's where you start heading into this freedom of speech territory. Like you're saying that you cannot protest the government in this way. And I mean, are you going to say that every Jehovah's Witness that doesn't stand for the Pledge of Allegiance is now I mean, that's idolatry. It's against a lot of religions. Actually, I think it's one of the big points. I don't fucking know. Anyway.
Shall not worship false idols.
Right. So you can't.
Don't pray to the golden cow.
So you're saying essentially that.
Shall have no other gods before me.
You see, I got nothing.
Don't fuck your neighbor's wife.
Love is my only religion.
Going all day.
So I think you're heading into pretty nasty territory too.
Best way to light a fire under a protest movement is to make it illegal for them to do it. I mean, this is now going to get all the coverage. All of the networks are going to be like, who's going to kneel? Oh, my goodness.
I'm just saying, ask the Sacramento Kings, who had nothing to do with it, what happens when Black Lives Matter protests outside of your arena.
When Stephen Clark got shot, they took the Black Lives Matter protest to the front of the Sacramento Kings arena. And games almost got canceled. But what happened was the few people that got into the arena got to watch the game, and the other 15,000 couldn't get into the arena for their own safety. They had to shut the arena doors. So they played the games because in the NBA, if you have a game scheduled and you don't play, you have $1 million fine. So you play the fucking game. So they had to play the game to like 500 fans. If I was one of those fans that made it in, I would have loved it. That would have been awesome to be one of 500 people right down low. But in the Kings' credit, they leaned into it. They were like, hey, this is a really shitty situation. We're with you. We get you.
The owner, Vivek Ranadive, he actually was very supportive of the whole purpose behind it. And there were a lot of people that were pissed. You know, I'm a season ticket holder, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, Grant Napier, who's the announcer for the Kings, was essentially saying, what did they do, though? They didn't do anything. I understand the protesters. I also understand that the Kings had nothing to do with it, so you can't really be mad at them.
No.
It was just what better way to get national attention than to shut down a national basketball association? So.
And they got the attention. It was all over the place. So what are we waiting for as we wrap this topic up? Are we waiting to see if all the players come out and kneel as a big fuck you to the NFL?
I mean, this just breathes life back into the story. If he wanted to stop people from taking a knee, the first thing they should have said was, the NFL doesn't take a position on forms of protest. Do what you guys want to do. The media would stop caring after a couple weeks, and, you know, people would bluster themselves out on Facebook.
In all honesty, this was something that was kind of fading away.
Yeah.
I mean, it was sort of the kneeling part was kind of like it stopped becoming a story before games. Not that
I was
people
going to say
the deep state.
It's not only the deep state. I'm also wondering if there's an advertisement edge to this. Like you get people watching to see what happens.
They're turning it into a little soap opera.
But
it's Obama, you guys.
Honestly, I mean, I want to say that I think every player is going to kneel now, but I honestly think they'll probably find, like thinking about it, they'll probably find a different way to do it.
Jerome didn't write about this. Way to go, Jerome. Swing and a miss, guy.
Well, he did say that they're trying to get the blacks against everyone.
Oh, well.
So apparently it's just black people that they're trying to.
Never mind. Jerome's woke.
Antifa.
Yeah, Trump doesn't take a position on the Latinos.
Let's talk about his taco bowl.
Oh my gosh.
All right, facebook.com/that's delightful. And again, patreon.com/that's delightful if you want to become a donor. And we can move in now to what we find delightful. And we're going to start with Michelle, who has skipped her turn first the last 3 weeks in a row. Last week, you said you were going to say something nice, but you needed a buffer, and then you didn't say anything nice about me at all.
No, you didn't deserve it last week. I'm just going to say that, are you trying to fish for compliments right now?
No, I'm not. I was kidding.
So, I actually, it's not really delightful unless it's like just funny, but there was a verdict in a court case recently where a judge ruled that a 30-year-old had to move out of his parents' house. So I thought this was hilarious. Like he went and I think because it hits close to what a lot of the inmates do, but like he fought to stay in his parents' house. He figured that they owed him 6 months and it was reasonable. And his whole point was, you made me dependent on you and now you're just cutting me off.
That is awesome.
And they had paid him at one point like $1,100 to move out. Wow. And he took the money but didn't move out. And this has been ongoing since February. So the judge was like, hey, I got to give you credit for doing your legal research. You still have to go.
What I was going to say was the one thing was the 6 months was not, He thought he owed it. This 6 months was a precedent that he found in a really obscure case. It just didn't apply to him, but he thought he could make it apply to him. It seems like the guy's a bright guy.
Well, I was going to say, that's what lawyers do. And, like, I bet his parents are probably like, fuck you, dude. Like, for real, you have all of this time to sit and research this. Get a fucking job. Go to law school. You know?
Seriously.
Like, why are you doing this?
I'll bet if law school was on the table, it sounds because it's a ranch home that he lives at. I'll bet his parents have the money to put him through school. I'll bet if he came and made a reasonable case like, hey, I know you want me gone. There's this law school opportunity. I could make a lot of money when I finally get out. It's going to take a few years. Could we do that? And they'd probably be like, yeah, go to school and live here, dudes. But it sounds like this guy has it because they said they wanted him to sell his collection of guns and collectibles. So it sounds like, and if you ever see a picture of this guy,
right? I didn't see the guns.
This guy looks like
I saw him.
You saw the black
Tommy
hair.
Wiseau, but like
this guy has a collection of swords. I'm going to call it right now. He's got a collection of swords and knives. Agree, disagree after seeing him.
Yes.
Yeah,
no, totally.
He's the kind of guy that's like, do you want to see my sword? This sword was featured in the movie.
Like, you're never going to have sex.
This is a replica Hattori Hanzo. You haven't seen Kill Bill, so you don't know what that means.
What about if I make 60 seconds of uninterrupted eye contact? Oh, that was a different movie. That was Baby Mama. What's the guy from Grandma's Boy?
Which one?
The creepy guy.
He was also in Dodgeball. Did you see Grandma's Boy?
Yeah.
The one that ripped off his game. The guy with the trench coat, the millionaire.
Yeah.
Oh.
Always talk like this.
Yeah, who is that?
I don't remember his
name.
But
so
that's
him.
what I think of.
That's him.
But this guy. So I want to ask the parents. So how did you raise your child? I would like to prevent that. And I don't want to blame the parents. I think parents too often get blamed for things that it's like, dude, I tried my best. I don't know what you want me to do. Maybe it's just hitting a little too close to home.
Well, we don't know if he's into drugs or anything like that. He probably is not, and that's probably where they got tripped up. It's like, what are we going to do? My kid's not an alcoholic. He's not a drug addict. He just has nowhere to live. He's a relatively bright guy. They probably saw a lot of potential in him, and they kept like, okay, but this time for sure.
Well, and that's what they've been trying. They told him to get a job. They were like, there's a lot of jobs out there. Just get a job. And he doesn't
want to do it. Yeah.
So, I mean, I just, like I said, I got to give a lot of credit to all parties involved, but I wonder what Thanksgiving's going to be like this year.
All right, Kelly, what you got for us?
Let's see. I'm going to go with a new video game. It's newish. The new God of War is awesome. It is so much fun. You're not a God of War guy, are you?
No.
You should try.
I'm not against. I've just never played it.
So God of War follows the adventures of Kratos, who was a guy who pissed off the Greek gods, and so they killed his wife and daughter. So he went to take revenge and kill all the gods, kill Zeus, kill the Titans, kill Hades, kill all of them. So over the course of 3 or 4 games, he went ahead and did that. Killed them all. Spoiler alert. You don't give a shit about Kratos, the God of War.
I am listening.
Are ya?
Kratos, the God of
fun.
War.
So he worked his way through the Greek pantheon, and
Don't look at your phone, Michelle.
I'm listening.
Betsy Davos ain't got nothing on Kratos. So now he's working his way through the Norse. Fucking put your phone away, God.
It is really distracting, isn't it?
Well, you're telling people.
Anyway, it's an awesome game. The combat is amazing. The graphics are really neat. I highly recommend God of War on PlayStation 4. Be the first kid on your block. You're the worst.
What did you do?
What do you mean, what did I do?
He was listening to me talk. Like
No,
friends do.
it's like I got a message from Rebecca Sidwell saying that tomorrow is my last day behind bars.
For the week?
It is for the week.
I saw her today, and I said she needs to go see your office, but I didn't say you were quitting your job.
Okay. Anyway, sorry.
Okay,
We'll
weird.
cut that out. Go ahead.
God of War.
God of War.
God of War.
Ares.
It's a fun
Mars.
video. No, not anymore. They killed all
Mars
of
is the
those.
god of
They're
messenger.
gone.
Or the messenger god.
That was Hermes.
Okay, so it is Mars and Ares then.
Do you know in which movie they killed the God of War?
The Pantheon.
Kratos is the god
Kratos.
of War now.
Wonder Woman.
He killed
Gaia.
Zeus right up against the rock and killed Gaia. That one
Killed Gaia?
killed all of them all.
Okay, can I get to my thing now? Because I'm really excited.
Go ahead.
God of War.
So at the time of this particular podcast, don't know what it's going to be yet, but I'm pretty sure I know. So tomorrow, I think the Goo Goo Dolls are releasing a new album, or at least a new song. Because if you follow Johnny's Instagram and Twitter, which I do, he's been posting pictures of his Diet Coke and his Sony headphones on a mixing board and saying, the 24th, 3 more days, 2 more days, 1 more day. Today was 1 more day. Tomorrow, there could be new Goo Goo Dolls music by way of new album or new song. I don't know what it is, but I'm excited as shit right now, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to sleep tonight. So I'm just going to say it right now.
I'm just going to say that it could possibly be that Johnny, who's had facial reconstruction a lot,
call him Jay, please,
possibly is part of the deep state because he has a deep V t-shirt on, and it's possible that he is actually one of the Sergeant at Arms, and
yes, he's the quartermaster,
and is releasing the pantheon of the God of War.
Oh wow, you are connecting all the dots tonight.
Everybody's gonna die.
We're gonna call you what's his name?
All I know is
Jerome Corsi.
Something new in less than 24 hours is gonna come out from the Goo Goo Dolls, and I'm super excited.
And it could be the deep state death.
And I'm super excited. I'm not afraid to say it because, as we all heard in our last episode, I've got no less than 5 testicles. So I have got all the testicular fortitude in the world. I've got all the balls. And I still got new Goo Goo Dolls music coming out, most likely.
That's the only time that sentence has ever been said or ever will be said.
You heard it. You heard it here. We'll put it on a badge.
I love all the balls, and I love Goo Goo Dolls.
Also could be a badge. So I'm excited. I don't know how to express myself right now.
Did you just choke?
Huh?
Did you just choke on your own spittle?
I did. I'm excited because from 1993 on, like Kelly and the Counting Crows, the Goo Goo Dolls have been a mainstay in my life. And now Johnny, at 53 years old, is still pumping out the hits. By that I mean making albums that nobody's really playing except AC stations here and there. But pumping them out. Anyway.
Johnny he should call himself RZA, the RZA. Johnny RZA.
See, that hurts.
It just sounds cool.
So anyway, that's what I find delightful this week. I'm excited to see what it's going to be tomorrow.
If it comes out tomorrow, I'm gonna listen to it tomorrow.
No, you're not.
I hereby pledge.
Can I just say that I'm going to get in so much trouble when Ian goes to edit this podcast because I've hit the table and the microphone, and I don't mean to. I just keep doing it, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to get in trouble. Oh, I've knocked the can.
Yeah, you give no shits. It's cool.
Hey, guys, can we do a Drunk Kelly episode soon? I just really want to drink some alcohol.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but the next 2 weekends... See, we could do it when we were in San Francisco at Clusterfest, but then you're not going to.
Well, if we were in San Francisco at Clusterfest, we'd be enjoying Clusterfest a lot like you and I are going to be doing.
You guys are the worst.
So we probably wouldn't be back at a hotel.
Hate you guys. If
you were at the hotel with us, though, in the hotel we got that's like a 1-bedroom hotel room, then we could totally do a drunk episode.
We should do Geely.
Okay.
You want to do Geely?
I do.
All right.
None of us have seen it, right?
Want to do it tomorrow? Oh, you have to work.
Not me.
Sorry about that whole job thing. Sorry I interrupted your Panther party.
I have a job. I just don't work on Fridays.
That's right, you don't. All right, so drunk episode on the way. Goo Goo Dolls coming out with new music, I'm assuming. I'll find out tomorrow. This podcast will be shockingly out of date in 48 hours. And Michelle and I are going to be at Clusterfest.
We are. Actually, this weekend we're going to be in Universal Studios and then Disneyland because, And Kelly is going to be meeting us there. Yes? No? Maybe so?
I sure hope so.
Okay.
All right. Well, it'll be delightful to see you there.
Yes.
All right. Until next week.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks for listening to That's Delightful. Online at totallydelightfulstuff.com, facebook.com/that'sdelightful, and on Twitter at that'sdelightful1.